Well, we have, just like we spoke in the workshop yesterday, we have no higher state than a nullification, self-nullification of the ego, of all the thoughts, all the desires, the individual desires, of all the relation that we've had before, to everything that happens now, all the programs and the goals and the anticipations, complete and total annulment, which doesn't exist, didn't exist, and won't exist. That's how it is, that whatever I have within me, even that same spark or drop, it also doesn't belong to me. Rather, it belongs to the upper Abba. It comes from there. So how do I annul myself to such a state that even this drop from which I will now start to evolve would be a drop of light that doesn't belong to me? It's difficult to envision this, but the entrance to spirituality is certainly through a state in which a person reaches to complete self-neutralization, that he's able to neutralize oneself completely. And then whatever he undergoes from below upwards, that's that same spark that he also doesn't relate to oneself. And thus, there is a work to be done here that is generally called a work of annulment, self-annulment. And after the Machsom starts the work with the desire to receive, which is a different work. A work that differs what we've had before, Machsom, during the times of preparation. And then he starts to grow. And the entire growth from one moment to the next is an annulment, annulment, annulment. Greater and greater annulment. And even above this annulment, really over, above the annulment, there's work with the Oviyut for the benefit of the others, which is much more than just annulling oneself, but it includes also referring oneself to the others. This is why our work is on top of hatred, which is something we're yet to reach. But what we were talking about yesterday and what we need to learn well today is this first state. How do we find ourselves in this passage between the two worlds? So let's think about it as we read the Zohar. What does it mean to be completely annulled? Of course that it can be attained only by the light that reforms.